Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. So today I'm going to be rendering my beeswax, basically to clean it and have usable wax for products. So right now I'm taking my wax cappings from the strainer that I had strained out for straining the honey, and I am just scooping these into a pot. Many people do this outside, but I don't have many cappings or a lot of beeswax, so I'm not really worried about it being a big process. This is one of my strainers. In the bottom strainer under this one I've got a good amount more, but I don't have a ton, so I'm not super worried about doing it inside. So basically what you do is you scoop these into all your wax cappings, all of the wax that you've got to render down, into a pot. You add water and you boil it until it's all melted together. Once it's all melted together, you're going to pour it over some cheese wax or some kind of fiber to melt or to take out the impurities, to filter out the impurities in the wax, because there's always going to be some impurities. This obviously still has a little bit of honey in it, which that'll come out too during this process. And then you let it cool, and as it cools, all the wax will float to the top, and you will have a hard chunk of wax. Now most people have to do this a couple of times to make sure that you get all the impurities out of the wax. So we'll see how many times it takes us. So there is all the beeswax and our uncapping tool that was stuck in the strainer. I'm just going to actually leave that because it's got a bunch of wax stuck to it that I want to get off. So now I'm going to fill this pot with water and get boiling. So here is all the wax with the water. It's obviously not boiling yet. We just put it on the stove. I did take the uncapping tool out. I just cleaned that off. So basically we're just going to slowly stir it until it gets all melted together. And then we'll pour it over the cheesecloth and let it cool and repeat the process a couple times. As it starts to boil down, you can see it coming together. It just becomes liquid. So you just keep moving the top into it because everywhere else is melted down at this point. So this is almost all incorporated. There's just a very thin layer on the top that has to melt in. And then we're going to pour it right into our 5-gallon bucket that has a cheesecloth on it and a ribbon to tie it. I don't have any big rubber bands. So we're almost there. And you see how quickly it cools. As soon as it gets on that or on the spatula, it just cools very quickly. Alright, so we have it to a nice rolling boil, so it'll filter out really nice. And I'm just going to slowly pour it in here, because all the impurities should get caught by the cheesecloth, or the majority of the impurities. And the wax and the water will go right through, and then we'll let it cool and repeat the process until we get every bit of impurity out. So you can see all the stuff that gets caught. We'll just let that drain for a bit and then let that cool and repeat. Alright guys, so this is pretty much the final product. As you see, it's like a floating blob on top. There's a little bit of warmth still on the bottom, but it's not enough, I don't think, to have wax be melted. So now I have to get this out of here and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Now again, I do not have a whole lot of beeswax because I only had clippings, or the cappings. So that's my beeswax, that's my chunk of beeswax. A lot of times people will get like thick chunks. I probably have maybe half a pound here. I don't know, probably not even that. It's really small, but I'll definitely be able to use this, and a lot of recipes only take a tiny bit of beeswax anyways, so I'll still use this. And I probably will clean it up one more time. I'll probably do one more run through of boiling and letting it cool, and then I'll be all set. So thank y'all for joining me today. Remember, we're growing today for a better tomorrow. Please like and subscribe and join me on the next one.